Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum. After watching Molek's fang-carry game, I wanted to see if it's a viable strategy against another 1900 MMR player. Let's go! At the bottom here, I am playing as a supply specialist with sledgehammers and fans. I am up against Sparty, playing as a saber-tooth specialist with marksman, sledgehammer, and additional fans. Because I'm going on fan carry on the line, the only way forward is to build more fans. However, in the first couple rounds, because my opponent already has marksman, I need to be a little careful with how I position my sledgehammers. Ideally, I want to have the sledgehammers to tank shots from my opponent's sledgehammers, but not the marksman, or at least not right away. So I've decided to have this stagger formation where the tanks are going to come in a little bit later. Now, don't worry. In turn 1, these fans are going to shoot closer than the sledgehammer, which means they're going to move forward just a little bit. That's fine, because in turn 2, I am planning on taking range and start to get these fans leveled. So, turn 1, these fans would just be purely chaff. Alright, looks like I am going to win on the left-hand side, and that's no surprise, because I am going with ASIM. On the other side, however, I wonder if I can get through these sledgehammers, and if I could, I am going to win that side as well. Alright, not a very bad start for me, considering I'm going with the meme build, so let's see how I do in the later rounds. The hardest part about that kind of fang carry is the first 4 rounds, because your opponent can really hard counter them before you get the proper tech and the levels. Sparty decided to take a smart marksman card. Interesting. And here's the reason why. He has assault marksman ready to go. They have a tremendous amount of HP, and if he's taking a smart marksman card, which means they are going to get level, therefore making them extremely tanky in the later rounds. Alright, I am going along with the original strategy, which is going to get range and getting more fans. So the beauty of fan carry is that you have a lot of money left in the later rounds, which means starting from about round 5 or round 6, I should be able to afford temp range and temp speed. Both are critical for a fan carry. And I still have extra money left over. Alright, being round 2, there is going to be a saber-tooth on the floor. And of course, assault marksmen are just so super tanky, and they're shutting down all my fans. So the fans right now aren't really getting a lot of experience, which is a problem, because it needs to kill things to get experience out. So there's one, but I don't think I can get another marksman this turn. Alright, so big round for Sparty. And this is where I got a little concerned. I was wondering how the heck am I going to deal with these assault marksmen now that they're going to level. But thanks to Bear-like, he gave me a fortress. A very excellent card into this type of position. Is also for my opponent. He also got a few nice picks. Mustang, I think, is just a god tier unit against fan carry. He also had Fire Badgers, which is really good against fan carry. So my opponent took Mustang, and I took the fortress. I didn't need the sledgehammers anymore because I have something better. And in that one turn, I took Fort Shield as well. The reason I did Fort Shield instead of going for another fortress somewhere here is because I needed my fans to kill a little bit more things before they die. And the Fort Shield is going to allow that. So the strategy is the fan's going to clear out the chaff at the front. Once the chaff is done, the fortress is going to try and get to these assault marksmen and also tanking shots from these Mustangs. Alright, fortress on target, going on to the assault marksman. The positioning on the right hand side is also great for me because immediately after they clear the middle bunch of units, they start to walk towards the middle instead of towards my tower, which is really good for me. But my god, these level 3 Mustangs just absolutely ripping through my fan line, and because they have range, there's just no way for my units to get close. So again, very scary when you're doing a fan carry in the early 4 or 5 rounds because of things like this. Because now that I've seen the Mustangs, I know I have to double down on a forge with shield. Laser sight got instantly picked by me. The importance of laser sight on a fang-carry cannot be overstated. Your fangs, even with range, is only shooting at a measly 115. So that is shorter than the Mustangs. That is shorter than your regular default range for your marksman, farseer. Fire badger with range can potentially match what fans have. So it's not really an impressive range. Without range, that just means your fan cannot get into your target effectively, and if your fans cannot kill things, they cannot level, and if they cannot level, they will forever be a chaff instead of a carry. So laser sight allows the fans, especially dispatch fans, to get leveled, and once they get to like level 4 or 5, absolute beast of a unit. Alright, continue on. Continue to add more forts. And this round I did take enhanced range or temp range, so it allows my fans to shoot at 130 meters. And that is still a bit of a problem against the Mustangs, but now they're only 5 meters apart. My fort was able to dispatch the level 3 Mustang. That was so important. And with the tower down, I think I should be able to get all these Mustangs. These fans I also double tech this round with Mech Rage. So you have to make sure that you time these correctly. So if I took Mech Rage sooner, that just means I didn't have enough money for the forge, which means the Mech Rage won't be effective because the fans won't actually kill that many units. So the way it works is you want to have range on the fans first to improve their survivability, but also increase their damage just slightly because now more fans can shoot at the same time. And then the next step is to build some meat shield. If you don't have forts, steel balls is a great option with armor. Sledgehammer, if I kept those sledgehammers, would be another great option. And then when you have a semi-decent meat shield, that's when you take Mech Rage, allowing the fans to quickly level. And as you can see, this round, I have 4 squads of fans being leveled. Well, 5. No, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of level 2 fans, which is great for my board. And this is when the scaling happens. All right, let's see what Sparty does. Now, Sparty did watch the Molech video, and he had a few thoughts about it, right? He had a few opinions on how he could do better. And already we're seeing this huge line of Mustangs, and they are going to kill every single fan if they can get rid of my fortress. So it becomes a battle of how quickly can my opponent get rid of my fortress, allowing the Mustangs to get rid of my fans before my fans gets too big. I do have a single wild card, and that is this laser sight fans on the bottom. It's just going to stay behind and murder every single unit that's left over in the end, with the exception of this level 3 Mustang. But even then, right, they're only 5 meters apart because I am now taking temp range and temp speed every single round. And with fans moving at 14 meters per second, my god, I don't think it makes a difference. I mean, if a fan is high enough level, they can actually dispatch Mustangs fairly nicely because fans, we have more models, like more unit models per squad than a Mustang. Look at this. Level 3 Mustang just getting completely decimated. And with the tower down, man, is this strategy actually working? Like, this cannot be any more obvious, right? You know that I'm going fan carry starting from round 1, so that gives you all the time in the world to defend against that. Advanced Offensive Tactic is offered. It's the best card you can take. The second best card is probably that range increase. I mean, those both are very expensive cards, but you're going fan carry. You got so much money every single round, so it doesn't really matter. But that 30% increase in damage just is so good. Anyways, back to the meta. Yeah, so you know this from round 1, and you know exactly what you need to do, right? So Sparty right now is putting acid on the ground, and I think the purpose of the acid is just to get my fortress covered in them, so they'll slowly die out. He also took double shot on the Sabertooth. Problem right now with the Sabertooth is that they are in the direct line of fire after these crawlers die, which means they probably won't get to shoot that many times on the shield bubble. But the acid could be interesting. I feel like the acid is just a little too close to these armies, right? So as you can see right now, we're actually not engaging on the acid until my units move in, and that's only because I took temp range. Without that extra 10 meters, my fortress would be standing directly in the asset, and that would be a huge problem. And there's really nothing he can do with the asset distance, because most of his quick units are already back against the board, and his slow units are already near the tower. If he actually wants this asset to work, he will have to move his units either in line with the tower or behind the tower, which is very risky because once I take tower, my army just rips through everything. All right, so things that are good against fang-carry. Mustangs are excellent, as we've seen. I mean, this Mustang, it practically killed 3 squads of fans here. Stonecallers got tier units, so that's being dropped. So I'm going to guess that Sparty is definitely going to take Stonecaller and add fire to it. I'm going to take the Rhino and sell. Actually, no. The first time I'm going to take the Rhino is just to keep it around as another tank. Unlike the Forest, the Rhino serves a slightly different purpose. It can actually go in and kill things. And if I can provide enough chaff clear, this Rhino should be able to get to the tower. Let's see. Alright, here comes the double Stonecallers with fire. Stonecallers back in the days is terrifying against fang-carry because you don't really have any great AM anti-missile options. You can do maybe a war factory, you can do some anti-missile devices, but aside from that, everything else just kind of sucked. I remember there was a game where Sparty was playing versus Sacco, and Sacco tried to do fang-carry, and then eventually had to put down 2 war factories to deal with the missiles. It was fine, but it was just very expensive, and you get hard counter by melting point later on, right? So here, now that I've seen these rockets, what I need to do is to use the newly upgraded Mustangs and their AM devices to deal with this. I have a lot of money. I have these big forts, big giants, and I have very jack-up fans. So if I get the Mustangs, they can serve both as an AM tool, but also as a chaff for my fans, which is kind of funny, right? Normally you got fans to serve as a chaff, and the Mustang is your main DPSer. But now we're going to flip that. We're going to use the Mustangs as chaff, and then the fans as your main carry. Incendiary Bomb is always great. I'll be surprised if my opponent doesn't take it. But for me, I wanted to have the Mustang production because I am already going into Mustang. Surprisingly, it's going to be a heavy armor for my opponent on that level 2 Sabertooth, and now is rocking 80,000 damage. The Sabertooth is not doing too much. I mean, look at this unit. Last round only did 4,800 damage, which means it has been primarily shooting at fans, whereas this one did even less. The problem right now with the Sabertooth is what I mentioned earlier. There's nothing in front of it, right? Once these crawlers die out, which they will very soon, these Sabertooth are under their direct fire. All right, third tech comes in at round 8 for the fans, and that is going to be armor piercing, increasing its attack by 50%. So with the combination of the advanced offensive tactics, the armor piercing, the +1 tower upgrade, and eventually going to be +2. Right now, my level 3 fans are shooting at 351 damage per second per unit. That's terrifying. I think I should be able to bring down the Sabertooth in like 2 seconds. All right, so here comes the Mustangs. I put 3 Mustangs down, all with AM. That should be enough to deal with 2 squads of Stonecallers. I added even more AM devices, anticipating more Stonecallers, and I was right? Sparty added 2 more Stonecallers on the other side. So now it becomes a battle of rockets versus AM, and also big tanky units versus big damage units, because once those 2 things are removed from the equation, the Mustang should be able to get through everything. But because they haven't been removed from the equation, my units are moving forward. Now the good thing on the left hand side is that my opponent did get the fire down, and that killed pretty much all my fans. I am going to lose those 2 AM devices, which hurts. They do cost 100 supply a pop. I mean, I am very rich because of fang-carry, but I still want to use I still want to save my devices. He's going to get another one, so that's 300 supplies down the drain. Okay, so now that I know what I'm up against, Ooh, an advanced aiming system. Instant grab that. It's just such a good unit. Back to what I was saying. Now that I know what I'm doing, the next step is just to get more Mustangs. I don't think I need more fans anymore. I think they are all pretty good, pretty high level. But what I do need is something to deal with the Stormcallers. And now there's going to be launcher overload, which means they're doubly effective when it comes to shooting missiles. And my Mustangs would really need to put in the work. Now, interesting thing about AM is that the Mustang missile interceptor is not affected by its range enhancement. I thought it was when I was playing this game, but afterward I read the description and it turns out it really doesn't matter. Even though, and this is funny, right? Even though they're using the same gun on the Mustang. So somehow, without getting range enhancement, the Mustang's gun can magically shoot further just because the target is a missile. Try the logic out of that. Alright, so 150 meters always for AM for Mustangs, and then range, even if you get range, you get up to 145. With temp range, you're going to boost that up to 106. Vulcan comes down. It doesn't even get to fire. I just got brought down by my level 3 fans. That was so funny. Oh man. So, okay. So there's fire on the ground. Mustangs are working their hardest. I mean, there's how many Stormcallers? We got what, 6 Stormcallers with launcher overload? That's a lot of freaking Stormcallers. I think I might get this one just because of my squad on the right, and also this fortress is just constantly producing Mustangs, so very powerful stuff. Oh, look at this high level 5 Mustangs with laser sight. Man, they're doing so much damage. Round 10. Unit drop. Melting Point is probably going to be my best bet, and it's also a good choice for my opponent. It's good for me because I need an EM barrage to shut down a lot of things on my opponent's side. But with my opponent, I don't think he can necessarily run EM just because of how many Mustangs I have. I think he might be better just to go with range. Anything to burst these shield bubbles nice and early will allow the Stormcallers to get fired down. So that's what I think would be the best way forward for these melters. I think EM would have been a complete waste. It's just nothing's gonna land. And my opponent took EM. Well, whatever floats your boat, but definitely want to make sure you have range because they can insta-lock onto the shield bubbles. Alright, Sabretooth is sold because it wasn't doing too much. And neither was this one, so I expect this one to get sold as well. But honestly though, the positioning of the Melting Point is no better than what it was in the Sabretooth. It's just too far forward. Level 1 Melting Point only had 35,000 HP. But when you're up against like level 4 Fangs that are doing 468 damage per second times I don't know how many units they are, quite a few unit models, you're not gonna survive very long. Alright, shield bubble is getting popped, but with so many Mustangs that's just completely catching every single rocket as they leave the Stormcaller. Nothing is really landing on the ground. This is the very first shot on the left being landed. There's at least a few fire coming down, but this is overwhelming. May not be the end of the game yet, but this is definitely getting very close to the end, because what will happen after that is my fans will just keep getting leveled. And that's the end. You know, you can't outscale fans that are getting this many levels. Man, I can't believe this strategy is working as well as it has. When I first watched that video by Molek, I thought, you know, this is like a one-off thing. At this MMR, people's gotta know how to deal with that. But man, this is working really well. All right, another Mustang production. So this is a tough one because I really wanted the speed as well, because it allows my fans just to get close to distance really fast against the Mustangs, negating the slight range advantage. But the Mustang production is too good to ignore. Just having additional chaff and also additional AM is so good. All right, so it's going to be Mustang production line, continuing to upgrade everything. Have tons of money. I think I'm going to finally take the level 2 tower upgrade soon. But that's after I take the 4th tech, which is portable shield. So now my fans not only are extremely powerful, they're also extremely tanky. Didn't actually have enough money to get that level 2. It would have been really nice. But for now, I'm just happy with my quad tech fangs, with my double forge producing Mustangs to stop all these Stormcallers. It's going to be a slaughter. Let's watch this battle unfold. My opponent, in my opinion, I think he did everything right. I mean, the minor problem was probably just the EM into anti-missile Mustangs. That was not wise. He could have gone with something else. I think range would have been a way better choice. At this point, I don't know if there's anything he could realistically do. I mean, he never tried to flank me, but we got like really high-level fans kind of defending on that area. Multi-beam does absolutely nothing against carry fans. They just don't work. I mean, the damage output is just not enough. Range would have been a lot better. Yeah, this is it. I mean, fang-carry in the most obvious way possible. Your opponent sees it from round 1, does everything right, picks the Mustangs, picks the fire callers. Somehow, still not able to win. So I'm going to play with the strategy a little bit more in the future. And I want to see just how viable this is. Because it looks really strong. And I highly recommend you try this strategy as well and let me know in the comments how it went. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. And if you like more videos like this, I got another one for you. And I'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.